Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Nuh and other parts of Haryana remain tense for the third straight day with a few sporadic instances of violence, especially in the interiors of various districts. Communal clashes that broke out in Nuh and spread to other parts claimed 6 lives and have left dozens injured. But crores of property has been damaged, stolen, looted. The clash broke out during a Hindu religious procession in Nuh district after rumours spread that the absconding Monu Manesar, a key accused in the Bhiwani killings, would also attend the event. At least 44 FIRs have been registered under rioting and communal sections, and over 116 people have been arrested so far. And this is across various districts. Nearly about 70 have been arrested in Nuh itself. The police FIR also points towards a pre-planned conspiracy, and it doesn't mean that it was just Monu Manesar. This was something which was being orchestrated and planned, and there was supposed to be, that's the FIR says, that this was pre-planned nearly about 8 to 10 days. That's what some news reports are also reporting. While the opposition slams the Manohar Lal Khattar government for failure of law and order in the state, and how did the intelligence mechanism not know? How did law enforcement not know? The state government has termed the violence as a well-planned conspiracy. But looking at the scale of violence and details emerging, can we deny the fact that it was pre-planned? Are we leaning to believe what the government is saying? Yes, it is right and fair to ask the government, if it was pre-planned, how did you not know? But who are these people who pre-planned this? Who are these people who stoked the fire and lit perhaps the tinderbox? Do the cops have enough evidence to prove what happened on July 31st and thereafter was pre-planned? Now an FIR has been registered in Nuh against unknown persons, and CNN News 18 has accessed the FIR, which discloses some stunning revelations. The cops have said in the FIR that the incident was a pre-planned and well-planned conspiracy. Police has stated that people in the mob attacked and shouting slogans. They attacked the yatris of this 84 Kosi or 84 Kos Yatra, which was perhaps being undertaken for the 3rd or the 4th year. And the police team present at Nuh's Adbar Chowk was also attacked. A crowd of about 600 to 700 violent people who were coming from the Tauru village were chanting slogans and attacked the police station. The FIR stated that hundreds ghear out the police station, throwing stones and shouting they will burn the policemen alive. So much so that they tried to take control of a bus, pulling out all the people who were on board the bus, looting them, and then driving the bus into the wall of this police station. The FIR says the unruly violent crowd continuously pelted stones at the cops. Where did they get so many stones at the ready is another question that comes. The mob broke the main gate and wall of the police station using a bus. The rioters climbed on top of the police station and started to fire at the policemen using illegal weapons. The policemen fired tear gas and then had to fire over 100 rounds of bullets in self-defense. The protesters burnt over 15 vehicles inside the police station itself, and the cops, in retaliation, like I said, fired 100 rounds. The FIR states that protesters finally left after reinforcements reached, but they warned to kill the policemen. Why is this police station so important is one aspect that remains and perhaps looms, and it is subject to investigation. Earlier in the day, I caught up with the Haryana Home Minister Anil Vij. Listen into this conversation. Joining us now is the Home Minister of Haryana, Anil Vij ji. Anil ji, namaste, Jai Hind. मैं सबसे पहले आपसे जानना चाहूंगा अभी वहाँ हरियाणा में परिस्थिति क्या है, खासकर नूह और आसपास के इलाकों में, गुरुग्राम, पलवल, फरीदाबाद और सोना।
देखिए, पूरी तरह से शांति है, पूरी तरह से स्थिति नियंत्रण में है। हमने हरियाणा की 23 और केंद्र की 20 कंपनियां वहाँ पर डाल दी हैं और 8 सेक्टर बनाए गए हैं। 8 जो थाने हैं, हर थाने का एक IPS को इंचार्ज बनाया गया है और आज चंडीगढ़ से कुछ IAS भी भेजे जा रहे हैं जो वहाँ बैठकर सारी स्थिति का अवलोकन करेंगे। हम पूरी तरह से जो साक्ष्य मिल रहे हैं, चाहे वो CCTV से मिल रहे हैं या अदरवाइज मिल रहे हैं, उनके आधार पर हम FIR दर्ज कर रहे हैं। 41 FIR हमने अभी तक दर्ज कर दी है और 116 आदमी अभी तक केवल नूह में गिरफ्तार हो चुके हैं। बाकी जगह से भी गिरफ्तारियां हुई हैं, जैसे गुड़गांव से, सोना से, रेवाड़ी से वो भी गिरफ्तारियां हुई हैं और उसकी भी एफआईआर दर्ज की गई है।
अनिल जी, प्रशासन को दोष दिया जा रहा है, कहा जा रहा है कि पुलिस सतर्क नहीं था, इंटेलिजेंस फेलियर कहा जा रहा है कि क्या आपको भनक नहीं थी? सोशल मीडिया में काफी दिन से इस पर उबाल हो रहा था कि ग्राउंड पर ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है। जो वहां चश्मदीद हैं, जिनकी दुकानें टूटी हैं या लूटी गई हैं, वो भी कहते हैं कि पुलिस और प्रशासन वहां पर मौजूद नहीं थे।
नहीं, इस सबके हम पड़ताल करेंगे। अभी जो प्राइमरी काम है हमारे सामने वो है वहाँ पर स्थिति को पूरी तरह से नियंत्रित करना, शांति बनाए रखना और जो जो लोग दोषी हैं उनकी पूरी तरह से खोजबीन करके उनको सज़ा दिलाना। और ऐसा तो जिस ढंग की ये वहाँ पर आगजनी हुई है, गोलियाँ चली हैं और जिस प्रकार का तांडव हुआ है वो कोई एक दिन का काम नहीं हो सकता। उसके लिए किसी न किसी ने मास्टरमाइंड किया होगा और हम उसको भी फाइंड आउट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। लेकिन हम तथ्यों पर आधारित सब कुछ जांच करना चाहते हैं और सारी स्थिति को हम सामने लाएंगे, लोगों के सामने बेनकाब करेंगे कि किसने ये खेल खेला है, किसने प्रदेश की और देश की शांति को भंग करने का प्रयास किया है।
आपको क्यों लगता है कि ये प्री प्लान्ड है, सुनिश्चित तरीके से किया गया है अनिल जी?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। आप देखिए ना जी, साइमल्टेनियसली सभी जगह पर छतों पर पत्थर आ जाना, गैस के सिलेंडर आ जाना, नाकों पर गोलियां चलाना, तो ये बिना प्लानिंग के तो नहीं हो सकता ना जी, एकदम तो नहीं हो सकता। अगर एकदम हो फिर तो फैलते फैलते फैलती है, एकदम कभी नहीं फैला करती। अगर एकदम कई स्पॉट्स पर दंगा हुआ है, थाने को आग लगा दी है, अस्पताल को तोड़ा गया है, गाड़ियां जलाई गई हैं, तो ये एकदम तो नहीं हो सकता। उसके लिए कुछ न कुछ इकट्ठा किया होगा ना जी, पत्थर इकट्ठे किए होंगे ना जी, इतने लोगों को पत्थर लगे हैं तो किसी ने तो प्री प्लान किया है कि कहाँ से यात्रा आएगी, कहाँ से यात्रा जाएगी, अगर एक्स्ट्रा पुलिस फोर्स मंगाई जाएगी तो कहाँ से आएगी। गुड़गांव से हमारी पुलिस गई उनकी सहायता करने के लिए और बॉर्डर के ऊपर ही उनके ऊपर फायरिंग कर दी गई, हमारे 2 होमगार्ड के जवान मारे गए। तो कोई तो कर रहा ना जी, इसको ऐसे तो नहीं माना जा सकता ना जी कि भाई ये एकदम हो गया या कुछ हो गया। और ऐसे कोई उत्तेजना पूर्वक कोई कहीं किसी साइड से बात की गई हो, उसका भी कोई साक्ष्य सामने नहीं आ रहा।
पर आप ये भी तो मानेंगे कि अगर कोई ये सब कुछ कर रहा है और ये षड्यंत्र भुन रहा था जैसा आप कह रहे हैं, तो फिर सरकार प्रशासन को भी इसकी भनक नहीं लगी, पुलिस और इंटेलिजेंस को भी इसके बारे में पता नहीं लगा?
बिल्कुल हमारी जो जांच हो रही है उसका ये भी एक बिंदु है कि किस स्तर पर वो अगर दी गई तो किस लेवल पे दी गई जानकारी, अगर नहीं दी गई तो कहाँ नहीं दी गई, तो हम उस लेवल पर भी कर रहे हैं। लेकिन पहले जो हमारा प्राइमरी काम है, मैं समझता हूँ हमारी सरकार का, हम उसको कर रहे हैं।
कल मेरी एक सज्जन से बात हो रही थी देर रात, वो वेद प्रकाश जी हैं, वहीं नूह के रहने वाले हैं। वो कह रहे हैं कि पीढ़ियों से वो वहीं रहते हैं, लेकिन उनका ये कहना है कि प्रशासन ने अगर मदद नहीं की तो फिर यहाँ से वहां से हिंदुओं को पलायन करना पड़ेगा। ये उनका कहना है क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि प्रशासन ने हाथ हटा दिया। वो कहते हैं हमारा कोई पॉलिटिकल एफिलिएशन
नहीं, हम सबको पूरी तरह से सुरक्षा मुहैया कराएंगे, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। अब इसके लिए अब हम सारा सोशल मीडिया को सारे को हम स्टडी कर रहे हैं कि क्या क्या पोस्टें डाली जा रही थी, क्या क्या उसके ऊपर वार्निंग दी जा रही थी। हमारे पास लोगों ने कई चीज़ें मुहैया भी करवाई हैं, वो भी हम सब इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए दे रहे हैं। तो हाँ, हर एक चीज़ की गहराई तक जाएंगे।
उनका कहना था कि उनका बेटा 3-3.5 घंटे से एफआईआर लिखाने के लिए पुलिस थाने में खड़ा था और पुलिस पूछ रही थी कि आप शिनाख्त कराओ कि कौन कौन आए थे आपकी दुकान को तोड़ने। तो ये कैसे कोई करेगा? दंगाइयों से आप अपनी जान बचाएंगे या फिर उनकी शिनाख्त करने में लगेंगे?
नहीं,
लेकिन उन्होंने कहा कि सभी लोकल लड़के थे, 15-20 साल के आसपास के लड़के थे।
और ऐसे भी केसेस आ रहे हैं, कोई पर्टिकुलर केस है तो आई लुक इनटू आल्सो, पर लेकिन हम जनरली सारों की दर्ज कर रहे हैं जो जहाँ पर हो रही है। और हमारी जैसे मैंने बताया कि सेक्टर बना के हम कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं। हर थाना स्तर पर हमने एक आईपीएस अफसर को बैठाया है ताकि लोगों को कोई कठिनाई ना हो।
अनिल जी, आई जस्ट ऑल्सो वांटेड टू आस्क यू कि आज भी और कल देर रात भी गुरुग्राम में और उसके आसपास भी कुछ इंसिडेंसेस हुए हैं, ये आपके संज्ञान में हैं?
नहीं, मेरी जानकारी में है और उसी वक्त मैंने सीपी गुड़गांव से बात की थी और उन्होंने जाके स्थिति को नियंत्रण में कर दिया।
पीस कमिटीज बनाई गई हैं दोनों पक्षों के कुछ वरिष्ठ लोगों से बात की जा
पहले
रही है।
दिन से
क्या उससे कोई,
पहले दिन से हमारे अधिकारी, हमारे डिप्टी कमिश्नर पीस कमेटी के माध्यम से सभी में शांति बहाल रखने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। वो लगातार वो काम जारी है, साइमल्टेनियसली चलता है वो काम, दोनों काम साथ साथ चलते हैं।
विपक्ष आप पर निशाना साध रहा है, खट्टर जी पर निशाना साध रहा है, ये कहकर कि आपकी अगुवाई में ये हो गया है।
देखिए, ये कोई समय नहीं है अभी राजनीति करने का, और अभी तो सबको मिलकर और विपक्ष को भी मिलकर अपनी जिम्मेदारी का परिचय देना चाहिए कि सब जगह पर शांति बहाल हो। राजनीति करने का जब समय आएगा तब जो भी प्रश्न वो कहेंगे हम जवाब देंगे उनका। हमारे ऊपर दायित्व है जवाब देने का, हम देंगे सबका जवाब।
कुछ अरेस्ट हुए हैं अनिल जी, और क्या कोई सूत्रधार के करीब के पास पहुंचने की कोई कवायद हुई है? अभी तक आपने डिटेंशंस की बात कही है, लेकिन हार्ड अरेस्ट कुछ हुए हैं? और क्या
कर रहे हैं अभी। इट इज नॉट प्रॉपर टू रश टू एनी अर्ली कंक्लूजन। वी आर रीचिंग, हम काम कर रहे हैं उस दिशा में।
वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन सर, वो पुलिस थाने को बस के साथ उसकी दीवार तोड़ने की कोशिश की गई, अंदर जाकर कुछ गाड़ियों को आग लगाने की कोशिश की गई।
जो साइबर थाना, हाँ जी, जो साइबर थाना पर हमला हुआ है उसके भी वो कौन लोग थे, क्या उनका मकसद था? पीछे हमने साइबर क्राइम के लिए वहाँ पर काफ़ी जांच भी की थी कि वो क्या वो वही लोग थे। इस एंगल से भी हम जांच कर रहे हैं।
और आप ये आश्वासन दे रहे हैं कि अगर प्रशासन की तरफ से, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, पुलिस की तरफ से
नहीं, बिल्कुल लोगों को निश्चिंत रहना चाहिए, बिल्कुल निश्चिंत रहना चाहिए और स्थिति को फर्दर खराब नहीं होने देना चाहिए। और मैं मानता हूं कि सबको अपनी बात कहने का हक है, लेकिन कानून को किसी को हाथ में नहीं लेना चाहिए, शांति को बनाए रखना चाहिए।
अनिल विज जी, थैंक यू फॉर स्पीकिंग विद अस। धन्यवाद सर।
So that was the Home Minister of Haryana who said that he reached out to the Commissioner of Police or the CP of Gurugram to rush help towards Nuh. Joining us now is the CP Gurugram Kala Ramchandran ji along with Nishant Yadav, the DC of Gurugram. Namaste and Jai Hind to the lady and the gentleman. Thank you very, very much. My first question to you, Kala ji, is can you get to the bottom of how it all started? There are many who are saying it was all pre-planned. Are you inclined to agree?
I really won't be able to comment on whether it was pre-planned or not, because the incident first occurred in Nuh district. So I really won't be able to comment on anything that happened in some other district. I can talk about Gurgaon. In Gurgaon, the incidents that happened were in reaction to something that happened in Nuh district.
But was there any intelligence that there could be something like this? Some information?
We really no. We were not aware, and secondly, I was in the High Court. I had been summoned there for an appearance when these incidents started happening. So I rushed back in the evening, and then we handled the affairs.
True. So Nishanji, let me ask you. You were the DC there. When did you first come to know about the incidents in Gurugram?
So it basically started on 31st only. We came to know about it by I think 3 or 4 p.m. on 31st itself.
All right.
Because the incident which happened in Nuh, it got spilled over to its reactions got spilled over to some portions of Gurugram, particularly in Sona. So we came to know about it in the afternoon itself.
But then what are the countermeasures that you have put in place or you have tried to take?
Yes, absolutely. So when it first started in Sona city of Sona town of Gurugram, first of all we reached there, we spoke to both the communities, the leaders from both the communities, and since then we have been continuously in touch with them. We have held many peace committee meetings with the leaders of both communities, and they have assured us to cooperate. And we have also made public appeals, and we have requested citizens to support us and keep calm and not to believe in rumors, and that has really paid off. I would say the situation is absolutely under control in Gurugram, and besides a few small incidents, things have been largely peaceful.
But have any arrests been made, Kalaji, if I may ask you, in Gurugram?
We have arrested over 50 persons so far. From when the incident started till now. But it's an ongoing process because my people are still conducting raids, and even as I'm speaking, the numbers could be changing.
I appreciate that. That's
so
possible.
Yes, we are identifying the accused and we are arresting them.
Ji, but Nishanji, if I may ask you, schools, colleges, institutions, MNCs, Gurugram is also a big hub. So, we are getting reports that MNCs are telling employees not to come. There are others who are not coming or leaving because they are worried. What would you like to tell them?
As far as yesterday is concerned, as a precautionary measure, we asked the schools to not to operate physically and to run only online classes.
Right.
But since situation was normal by yesterday evening, so today all the schools in Gurugram were operational except the Sohna subdivision where there were small issues. But from tomorrow onwards, the schools will be operational in entire district. As far as the corporates are concerned, since 31st itself, we have not imposed any restriction on the working of corporates.
Right.
Many, and in fact most of the companies were physically operational today also. But however, if any corporate advises its employees to work from home, it's absolutely their call and we will not be interfering with that.
But Kalaji, is social media a challenge? There is a lot that's being said, claimed on social media from either side. Is that a big challenge for you? How are you trying to mitigate that?
Yes, it is a huge challenge. In fact, the kind of, the rumor mongering and the kind of sensationalizing that is going on in the social media is making the issue appear more or huger than what it is on the ground. And all those rumors are also making us rush from one place to another because people are panicking and calling us.
Yeah.
So it's creating a sense of panic, and which is not really desired on the ground. We are keeping the social media handles, we are monitoring social media, and we have suspended a couple which were really inflammatory, and we appeal to the people not to listen to or pay credence to rumors and sensationalizing of the news. You see, when a rubber tire gets burnt, it makes for a spectacular show, the flames and the smoke. But it also has a psychological impact on the person who is watching it.
Agree.
And creates a sense of fear. So, most of us have been receiving calls from RWAs and from panicked citizens, and we've been trying to assure them that there's no reason to panic, things are normal. Schools were working today in Gurgaon. So, our request is to not panic, and if you have an issue, please call 112. We will be there to help you out.
But Kalaji, on the face of it, was it just a mere reaction to what happened in Nuh, or was somebody expecting this entire issue to spread like wildfire in the neighbouring areas, like it's happened?
I really wouldn't be able to comment about that right now, because we have been too busy trying to deal with the various situations that have been emerging and trying to maintain peace and quiet. Maybe the time for analysis will come later when we have more time to actually think and not just do firefighting that we are doing.
One of the concerns is the settlement of Rohingyas, non-Indians, illegals from Bangladesh and otherwise in various pockets of Gurugram, Nishanji. Is that something that you have taken into cognizance? Is that a worry for you?
Well, in some of the colonies and particularly in the jhuggis which are located in the outskirts of the city, there is a little bit of panic among the people residing over there. And there were some reports where they have reported that they are feeling panicky. So we have sent our teams over there. Our officers have interacted with the RWAs also as well as the jhuggi dwellers also, and they have assured them that the entire government is with them, and we will make sure that no such incident happens over there. Further, we have taken many measures to boost the confidence among the communities also, and we feel that situation is under control now.
But Kalaji, let me ask you, you're saying investigation is on, there could be more arrests, 50 arrests already. Do these people who've been arrested belong to any particular organization, or are they just free radicals?
Yeah, we have arrested people. We still, the interrogation process will still be going on. So once we have clarity on that, then we will be able to tell you.
But are you getting cooperation from both sides, Nishanji, in trying to maintain peace? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are getting full cooperation from both communities. The leaders from both the communities, they have assured us time and again that not only they'll stand with us, but also they'll percolate the instructions from administration to every individual of the community. They have also held talks with each other in the sectors or the wards or mohallas of their area, and they have assured us full cooperation, and as a result there was not much issue throughout the day today, and I am very sure that the things will settle down quite soon and normalcy will be restored.
Given the challenge posed by misinformation being spread on social media, do you see any further reason to suspend internet in Gurugram? Nishant?
Well, in Gurugram city, yeah, we don't see any reason, but in some areas of Gurugram district, like I told, in Sohna, in Manesar, in Patodi, the internet is suspended till today midnight, and depending upon the situation, by late evening today we'll take a call whether we have to extend the suspension further or not, but it will be restricted to the towns of Sohna, Manesar and Patodi, as I told.
But Kalaji, do you have enough boots on ground, enough security personnel to help you maintain law and order, and do you believe section 144 should continue to be imposed in Gurugram and the surrounding areas?
It is already stands imposed in Gurugram, and depending upon the situation, which we'll analyze late evening today also and tomorrow morning also, we might give certain relaxations, and otherwise we may altogether do away with it depending upon the situation tomorrow morning.
But Kalaji, do you have enough personnel, boots on ground?
I have plenty of. I have a very good team in Gurgaon. All my DCPs, ACPs, inspectors, my entire staff has been out on the roads and working very hard ever since this 31st afternoon. So yes, I have plenty of support, and from the police headquarters also, and from my government.
Thank you very much, Kala Ramchandranji and Nishantji. Thank you very much, and hope that you are able to curb the violence and also restore peace and normalcy in Gurugram and the neighbouring areas. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier in the day there was a petition that was moved in the Honourable Supreme Court trying to stop the VHP and Bajrang Dal from organising rallies, protest rallies against what happened in Nuh. And they wanted to do it at multiple locations in all around the Mewat region and also certain parts of western UP and spilling over into some other regions. But the Supreme Court refused to stay. The Supreme Court refused to stay these protests, but they did impose stringent conditions. They directed the authorities that it has to be monitored very carefully, and CCTV should be there, every action should be monitored, and nobody should be allowed to take the law in their hands. Joining us now is the International Working President of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, Alok Kumarji. Alokji, Namaste and Jai Hind. The Supreme Court has ruled in your favour, but they have also asked for very strict monitoring.
I am satisfied for both of the things. Some demonstrations are planned in the evening, including in the sensitive areas. They were specifically referred to the Supreme Court. it was also referred to the Supreme Court that some Mahapanchayat is taking place today.
Yes.
The Supreme Court, after hearing this, has not agreed to grant any injunction order against our rallies. We are happy and satisfied with the order of strict monitoring,
Ji.
that is the CCTV and video cameras,
Ji.
because all the VHP Bajrang Dal rallies shall be held within the parameters of law, and we always use the restraint not to transgress the constitutional boundaries. We are happy with the order, and I think that it is a very sound defeat for the people who go to any extent
Ji.
to malign or disturb the VHP Bajrang Dal activities.
True, but the BHP and the Bajrang Dal cadre have been infamous or have been perceived to be notorious about taking law into their own hands and creating trouble on ground. But we'll keep that aside for the moment. Let me ask you your reaction to what happened in Nuh. And more than about 58 hours, tension still simmering.
I would say that the entire humanity is facing a threat from the jihadi elements, upon which a section of the Muslims believe. According to them, the whole world is to be converted to Islam by whatever means, by whatever violence or abduction or rape. This is clear that the Nuh incidents were premeditated and adequate preparation had gone for that. Illegal arms were collected, lathis, stones, and then when they attacked, they first killed the two home guards. So this is a challenge to the security agencies. Then they burned the vehicle of a media house. This was a challenge to the media also. And then they came after us. I would say that some of the campaign issues were in the public domain, and I am surprised that the intelligence did not report it. It is a monumental failure of the intelligence, and it is an utter negligence that the adequate police force like previous years was not deputed this time. So therefore, we have to be careful on all these three fronts.
But the ADG Law and Order says about 800 cops were placed there. The other aspect is their blame is also being pointed, fingers are being pointed at the VHP and the Bajrang Dal, saying there was open provocation, exchange of sloganeering, and there were certain cadre part of the Yatra who also were armed with lathis and sticks, etc. Some claims are being made that they even had weapons.
How did we provoke? I have a simple question to myself. If somebody is throwing stones at me, what do I do? Do I tell him, please wait for some time because I am calling the police and waiting for their arrival? The law gives all of us a right to defend ourselves. And since it is now an established fact that we were attacked, we had a right to self-defense. And there were no firearms. There were stones which were available in plenty, and some lathis which are taken for walking long distances. We retaliated, and I can tell you on your channel, anywhere, if the Hindus are attacked, they will use to the fullest extent their right to self-defense.
So you're terming your reaction or the reaction to as self-defense and saying that if there is an attack that happens, you're not going to take it lying down. You're exercising your right to self-defense. There are many who may not agree with your position, Alokji, but let me ask you, earlier you just said that this was pre-planned. Why did you say that?
I would straight away say that we equally condemn the burning of a mosque and the murder. It has to be within the law and the constitution, and we are satisfied that no VHP worker was involved in that mosque incident. But then I ask a question. If you attack Hindu temples, if you attack Hindu congregations, is it reasonable to assume that there would be no reaction to it? And whenever such reaction occurs, it is not possible for even the VHP or Bajrang Dal to control it. So therefore, the jihadi elements must understand that whatever they do by attacking, looting or other things, it would invite a reaction, an inevitable reaction, which would be to their credit.
You say that
and at their responsibility.
You say you condemn the attack at the mosque and also killing of the Imam, one of the 6 people who is dead, and you are saying here on CNN News 18 that you are very clear that none of the VHP or Bajrang Dal members were involved. VHP members were involved. But there are also many who are saying that the VHP is giving patronage to Monu Manesar, and that was a big trigger, that video.
Number one, that video is of the last year, not this year.
That's a big claim.
We did not upload it.
Okay.
But assuming against me, let me assume for a moment that the Monu Manesar was coming to participate in that Tirth Yatra. Will that justify the murder of home guards, the burning of the vehicles, the attack on the police, and the attack on the aged and other ladies and persons who were participating in that yatra? Some secular people are providing such lame excuses. Even the presence of Monu Manesar would not justify a rioting started by them.
One, you claim that this was an old video. 2, you claim that Monu Manesar was not given patronage by the VHP, and whether he was not there itself, whether he was there itself is a big question mark. But does that even justify the kind of violence that was unleashed? But why do you think this happened? It's not the first time you're carrying out this 84 Kosi Yatra.
There were no heated exchanges until we were attacked. There was nothing spontaneous. If you look into the media, if you look into the social media and the Twitter handles yourself, you will locate a couple of messages that have been doing rounds even before the yatra, for 2-3 days before the yatra, that invite the Muslims to come and to do whatever. So this was a pre-planned thing.
But why would they do it is a question.
This was a part of the jihad in an area where Muslims in the terms of numbers dominate. It was all planned to frighten Hindus and to compel the local population to leave Mewat. It was a sinister thing, not spontaneous but planned in advance.
But why would they do it now? Let's say there will be many who would challenge your arguments, your logic itself, Alokji. But let's say if I concede that you're making an argument, why would it happen now? Why would they target this yatra at this time? If you're saying VHP did not provoke first,
why had they assembled in such big numbers? Why were they carrying stones? Why were they carrying firearms? Why had they spotted positions in the small mounds around the temple to go and fire at the pilgrims? It is a part of their mentality. We did not provoke it. We do not provoke it. And we know the consequences of doing such acts in an area which has some 80% population of the Muslims.
So, whether or not the VHP Bajrang Dal was directly involved is a subject matter of investigation. But my final question to you, Alok ji, do you believe the Haryana government has failed? Will you blame them for what has happened?
I would say that since many things were in the public domain, it was a monumental intelligence failure not to repeat it, not to report it. Number two, this Yatra was in its 4th year. On all the 3 earlier occasions, there was a very substantial police bandobast. Why was it abandoned at this time? It is a common knowledge that this is a sensitive area. They should have anticipated this and taken action. We have asked the Haryana government to investigate and identify the officers responsible for this lapse, and the delinquent people should be punished.
So you believe that there was inadequate bandobast compared to the last 3 years. This is the 4th year, and compared to the past this time around, the bandobast was not enough. And you'd want to ask, were there officers who were negligent in their duty? And you're asking the Haryana government to get to the bottom of this. Alok Kumar ji, thank you very much for your time and for speaking with us here on The Right Stand. We're going to take a very short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, this is a big development that has now happened and a big claim. We get you the details. We get you the details of how illegals are entering India and who is giving them patronage. Stay with us for the details.
This planned conspiracy angle, what is the truth behind it, considering the FIR suggests it? This was something that was stated by the State Chief Minister yesterday, that is possibly that there is a planned conspiracy in this entire communal violence that has erupted out of this place where you're standing from. What is the entire truth behind it? Anvit.
See, it is being called a planned conspiracy on the basis of certain factors, which I'll chart one by one. I'll lay down for the viewers. One is that Monu Manesar's video had surfaced, in which he's asking people to join the Jalabhishek Yatra in large numbers, and he's also asking people to, as many as people can participate. He's been asking people to join the Yatra. Other than that, certain videos has also surfaced, which are with the police also, and they are investigating into it. That police are saying that certain videos that were used to incite violence and to provoke the two groups, that have also circulated on social media, which have been taken down because a social monitoring team has also been set up by the police, which is monitoring any such post which could incite violence. But police are saying that there are many videos and many other evidences with them that clearly suggest that it could be a planned conspiracy. The FIR says so because FIR was registered based on the complaint of a policeman who was witness to this entire incident. He has said that yes, he saw how the mob was, they were acting in an organized manner. They were stone pelting, they had weapons, they were brandishing pistols. So based upon these incidents, police are also saying that this could be a planned conspiracy, and investigation in that is in this angle is also being done. But a short while ago, when SP was Superintendent of Police was addressing the media, and he was asked that whether there could be any evidence in preliminary investigation that suggests clearly that there could be a planned conspiracy behind this entire incident, he said that it is a matter of investigation. He said that they have evidences, they have videos, they have footages, and they are collecting more and more scientific data. But he stuck to this line that it is a matter of investigation whether or not there were groups of people who were mobilizing the rioters, whether or not these rioters were working at behest of some other organization or persons, or people like Monu Manesar who have a criminal background, whether or not they are behind this, they are the main conspirators, or they too were acting at someone's behest. So this is entire a matter of conspiracy, and police are saying that investigation has begun. 116 people have been arrested, 41 FIRs have been registered, and also at least 60 people have been detained in this entire incident. So police are saying that we are investigating, but it is very preliminary stage, because those who have been arrested, their remand will be taken, and once they are on remand, only then they will be interrogated to know the details and who are the people who they were connected further with.
Alright, Anvit, you're pretty much laid down which way is the probe headed. I'd like to understand what is the situation currently in Nuh, where you are at, how long is the curfew going to remain, and the ground situation. Considering the police is saying all this, what have you learned through the locals who you've managed to speak to?
Yeah, see, the current situation, first of all, Riya, we are in Nuh at the main Alwar road, and you can say RAF is deployed in good number here. These personnel, in fact senior personnel are also there on ground. On this particular area where we are reporting from, CRPF is also deployed, additional units of local police from other districts of Haryana, be it Rewari, Rohtak and Sonipat. From there also force has been called in to maintain a tight vigil, particularly in Manesar, in Nuh, in Sohna and in Gurugram. But see, when we went to police have been maintaining since the beginning that they have ensured good presence on ground, and they are not letting any incident of violence unfold. But when we hit the ground and we talk to people, the witnesses and the victims of vandalism and arson that is taken, they have been saying since the beginning that the police and administration have been a step behind when it comes to securing their property and their lives. They have been saying that when the violence began, they are saying that police was not on ground. They came in a little late. Inside this residential area also, where we reported from a short while ago, a lot of people who came out on the street said that on Monday around 1:30 p.m. 2 p.m. when a mob had charged their residential area, police was nowhere to be seen. Police are maintaining that they have now deployed enough people, but see, the point is that even yesterday, police have been maintaining since Monday evening after the violence was contained that we are not letting any incident of violence happen. But even yesterday from sector 57 in Gurugram and from sector 66 in Gurugram, which is not even a core area of Haryana, it comes in NCR, Delhi NCR. Even from those areas, incident of arson and violence were reported. So police will have to ensure that in every pocket of NCR, Faridabad, Gurgaon, whatever areas are adjoining areas to Nuh and Mewat, such incidents do not happen, and then only will the locals also who have been since beginning alleging against the police that the violence is still happening, they will also make similar claims as the police have been doing.
Right, Anvit, thank you so much for bringing us all of those aspects from Nuh, from where this incident really occurred. It emanated from that part of Haryana, and now it is spilled onto not just Haryana, also into Rajasthan. Let me now open this up to my guests who are joining me on the broadcast. Mr. Shashikant, who's the former DGP of Punjab, is with us. Also with us is Mr. Ashpreet Kadyal of the Congress Party. Naveen Chomal of the VHP is also with us. Also with us is Savio Rodrigues, who's a senior journalist. Mr. Chomal, let me begin with you. Considering the VHP is in the thick of things right now, it was your Shobha Yatra, your rally that led to this entire chaos and turmoil that is erupted in Haryana. Now there is a statement, a direction that has come in from the Supreme Court, where, however, they've not stopped any such rallying by the Bajrang Dal or the VHP, but they have in...
Back on the right stand with the CNN News 18 mega exclusive. We've accessed the FIR in Nuh, one of the FIRs that's been filed in Nuh, which very clearly says that the attack was pre-planned. After rioting, one group organized themselves into digital groups, and CNN News 18 has accessed the copy of the Nuh FIR, and it's a CNN News 18 exclusive. Our group editor security Manoj Gupta accessing this FIR. The FIR says it was a well-planned conspiracy. An FIR registered in Nuh against unknown persons stated that people in the mob that attacked the Yatris shouted slogans, and they also attacked the police team present at Nuh's Adbar Chowk. Let's try and understand. And this is what it says. My duty was at the Adbar Chowk along with other police officers. So this is what a police officer has said in the FIR itself. So I'm just going to turn it around, and we've just got it, ladies and gentlemen. So bear with us. We'll try and show you. This is the FIR, which is dated very clearly 1st of August 2023 at 2 a.m. So this is shortly after that evening of 31st July when the violence has happened. We'll try and get some focus in there on this on the camera so that you can also read it. We will try and get you some more insight. So which are the IPC sections that have been invoked? So sections 148, 149, 332, 353, 186, 307, 295A and 25. Occurrence of the offence is on Monday 31st of July 2023 and it happened at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. This is what they are saying. दिनांक 1 अगस्त 2023 2:20 सुबह का, early in the morning, that's when the FIR has been filed. Let's try and take you through the content of the FIR, what it says. We're just taking away the name of the person who's actually filed the FIR. But this is the SHO साहब थाना शहर नूह. श्रीमान जी, निवेदन है कि मैं निरीक्षक पंकज कुमार, प्रभारी अपराध शाखा सेक्टर 39 गुरुग्राम तैनात हूं, जो आज मैं अपने साथी मूला जमान EC आदेश नंबर एंड देन ही गोज ऑन टू से दैट सिपाही संदीप, सिपाही संजय, सिपाही विक्रम, गाड़ी सरकारी, चालक सिपाही गौरी शंकर, दे वर ऑल टुगेदर के साथ उच्च अधिकारियों के आदेशों के अनुसार जिला नूह में बराए कानून व्यवस्था ड्यूटी के लिए आए थे। जो मेरी ड्यूटी अदबर चौक नूह पर साथी मुलाजमान के साथ लगाई गई, जो वहां पर मेरे साथी निरीक्षक अनिल कुमार, प्रभारी अपराध शाखा सेक्टर 40 गुरुग्राम भी अपने साथी कर्मचारियों के साथ उसी स्थान अदबर चौक में मेरे साथ तैनात थे। जो तावड़ू की तरफ से करीब 600 से 700 600 to 700 उग्र असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़, उग्र वेरी वेरी वॉलेटाइल उग्र असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़ जो कि नारे लगा रही थी, वह चौक पर तैनात पुलिस बल की तरफ पथराव कर रहे थे। जो 600 से 700 उग्र असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़ द्वारा लगातार पुलिस बल पर पथराव किया जा रहा था। वह इसके अलावा उपरोक्त असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़ की तरफ से पुलिस बल पर अवैध हथियारों से फायर भी किया जाने लगा। जो मैंने व निरीक्षक अनिल कुमार ने अपने साथी कर्मचारियों की इमदाद से उन लोगों को माइक के माध्यम से काफी बार समझाने की कोशिश की कि आप कानून को अपने हाथ में ना लें, शांति व्यवस्था बनाए रखें। आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू स्क्रॉल अप अ बिट, ताकि किसी व्यक्ति का जान माल का नुकसान ना हो, परंतु उग्र असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़ द्वारा पुलिस बल पर पथराव व फायरिंग निरंतर जारी रखा गया। उसी दौरान उग्र असामाजिक लोगों द्वारा की गई फायरिंग में एक गोली निरीक्षक अनिल कुमार के पेट में लगी, जिससे वो घटनास्थल पर घायल हो गया तथा इस गोलीबारी में व पत्थरबाजी में एएसआई जगबीर अपराध शाखा, दैट मीन्स द क्राइम सेल, अपराध शाखा सेक्टर 40 गुरुग्राम भी जख्मी हो गया, जिसको साथी कर्मचारी एसआई संजय एंड ही सेज वह अन्य साथियों की इमदाद से वो प्राथमिक इलाज के लिए अस्पताल के लिए रवाना किया गया। जो मैंने व साथी कर्मचारियों ने अपने अपने सरकारी पिस्तौलों AK-47 से भीड़ पर काबू पाने के लिए व अपनी साथी कर्मचारीगण की सुरक्षा के लिए हवाई फायर भी किए। जो उस 600 से 700 उग्र सामाजिक लोगों की भीड़ ने सरकारी कार्य में बाधा डालकर वह पुलिस बल पर जान से मारने की नीयत से पथराव व फायरिंग करके एक सोची समझी साजिश के तहत इस घटना को अंजाम दिया है। जो पुलिस बल पर पत्थरबाजी व फायरिंग करने वाले कुछ लोगों को मैं अपने सामने आने पर पहचान सकता हूं। He says I can recognize some of the rioters. That's what the SHO is saying. उन 600-700 उग्र सामाजिक लोगों की भीड़ ने सरकारी कार्य में बाधा डालकर पुलिस बल पर जान से मारने की नीयत से पथराव व फायरिंग किया। असामाजिक लोगों के खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जावे। एसडी प्रार्थी निरीक्षक पंकज कुमार, प्रभारी अपराध शाखा सेक्टर 39 गुरुग्राम एंड आज थाना एक समय लिखित दरखास्त मुद्दई निरीक्षक पंकज कुमार, प्रभारी शाखा सेक्टर, एंड देन ही कम्स आउट एंड सेज दैट दिस इज व्हाट दे ट्राइड टू डू, दिस इज द FIR details. And he also details the action that was taken. Anvit now joins us with more on this. Anvit, we stay with the FIR, but 2-3 aspects. 600 to 700 violent antisocial elements who were shouting slogans came and attacked the procession at Adbar Chowk. That's one. He says they were also not just pelting stones, they also fired with firearms like AK-47. The other thing he says is that this looked like pre-planned. This was not on the spur of a moment or spontaneous. This was pre-planned. These are three things that this SHO is saying. The FIR registered on the 1st of August at 2:20 a.m.
Yeah, Anand, and see, most of these FIRs are registered only based on the complaint given by the police person who were deployed on duty and who had witnessed this unfolding of these vandalism and arson and violence. Now, why this entire violence is being named as a conspiracy? There are certain factors to it. When we have spoken to some police officials, they have said that one angle is that the mob that was charging religious institutions and households of the people in that Nuh area, particularly in the residential area. Police officers who were on ground, they have said in their report that mob was charging in an organized manner, and this is one of the reasons why they are saying that there could be some conspiracy and some orchestrator at whose behest the mob was charging these places. Again, the second point is that the availability of weapons, because in both the parties, both the mobs that were charging at each other, both of them were brandishing pistols, swords, and they were armed with sticks and rods. So where all did this weapon come from? What was the source of these weapons? That is another thing that the police are looking into. Another important aspect is that police knew of the peacekeeping of the march, and they had also held meetings with the peacekeeping committees. So was there any lack on at part of other
one of the
stakeholders
interesting aspects, and I want to ask you on that, Anvit, just because they say तावड़ू की तरफ से करीब 600-700 उग्र असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़. So Tauru, this region which is Tauru. Now Tauru, is this the same place where not so long ago nearly 5,000 police personnel went and cracked down on this entire Jamtara type operations? Is this the same village?
Yeah, it is, and Tauri is also the place where the cyber police station is. And early, late evening on Monday, at least 200 to 250 mobsters had charged a cyber police station in Tauru, and they had carjacked a bus, in fact, and they all rammed the bus into the boundary wall of the police station. They gained entry, and they even tried to rob away and loot the laptops and other equipment that were kept in the police station. We had a word with the police personnel who were deployed at the police station at that time, and they said that they were so less in number. There were only 8 to 10 policemen present in the police station, and the mobsters were at least 250 and 200 in number. So the police had to resort to firing, and at least 50 to 60 rounds were fired before the mob could be controlled. So this was the situation, and the police somehow managed.
Is this a possibility now, based on this FIR, that the target was the cybercrime police station? The origin of this mob was from the same place where the crackdown not so long ago had happened, targeting this entire nefarious elements who are doing a lot of the cybercrime operations from this entire Tauru area. Pathikrit Pine is also with us, but Anvit, one of the aspects which many people have said, even the VHP International Working President Alok Kumar said that compared to the last 3 years, this time around the bandobast was very, very thin. The bandobast was not as strong. There is also reports that the presiding officer of that area was not present this time around. Is this all true? And could that be a factor?
See, when earlier in the day, when Superintendent of Police and the Deputy Commissioner had held a press conference, they had also agreed to the fact that there were only 800 police personnel on ground, and however, the number of mobsters were much larger than what the police presence was on ground. So this is also a point, that was there any laxity in deciding that or assessing the situation, that how many police personnel are to be deployed? That certainly is a big question, which not only we are asking, but even the locals, who are the victims of this entire vandalism and arson, they are also asking, because when the violence took place, the policemen, they are alleging that the policemen were nowhere to be seen. Only after the violence subsided and the violence was contained in the main areas, only then the police have intensified patrolling. And only
was it because of the numbers that were so sparse? A crowd of 600 to 700 violent antisocial persons, are 800 police personnel enough? This is what the SHO of Sector 39 says in the FIR very clearly, कि ये अचानक अधर चौक में हम तैनात थे, ताड़ू की तरफ से करीब 600-700 उग्र असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़, जो कि स्थान अदबर चौक में मेरे जो कि नारे लगा रहे थे, और चौक पर तैनात पुलिस बल की तरफ से पथराव भी कर रहे थे, जो 600 से 700 असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़ द्वारा लगातार पुलिस पर पथराव किया जा रहा था। और इसके अलावा उपरोक्त असामाजिक लोगों की भीड़ की तरफ से पुलिस बल पर भी अवैध हथियारों से फायरिंग किया जाने लगा। Pathikrit Pine is with us. Pathikrit, so were the cops the target? Was this pre-planned as the cops are claiming? Is there evidence to suggest that? Or would you turn around and ask this SHO, why weren't you ready? Why didn't you expect that something like this could happen? Was this a very, very thin bandobast of just 800 cops for a yatra that was going to go 84 kos or 84 kos?
Anand, first of all, the local must be asked the question as to why they could not have any kind of inkling, because as your journalist also mentioned, that this kind of situation could not have happened in one day. There was a lot of, this kind of thing happens with a lot of orchestration things happening from behind. It was entirely a synchronized operation that happened. I'm reminded, Anand, of something that happened in Kaliachok in Bengal. There was a massive, one-sided rioting that happened, violence that happened, and then they targeted the police station because there was a lot of poppy cultivation which used to happen there, and there were a lot of records there of those who were involved. So invariably, the cyber issue is definitely, something we must keep in mind. But I have a larger question, Anand. If this is not terrorism, then what is terrorism? So if you look at it, sadly, we are still looking at it as a law and order issue. This is not a law and order issue. This is not a rioting. This is one-sided pogrom that happened, wherein social engineering, constant indoctrination against the state, constant indoctrination against other religions, and an incessant supply of illegal weapons create a very potent force for fifth generation warfare, where you don't require an IED, you do not require an AK-47.
But the simple question is, Pathikrit Pain, that they have all congregated, this has all been accumulated right under the nose of the local law enforcement. It has happened right under the very nose of the local law enforcement. What was the local intelligence doing? How is it that they didn't know that stones are being accumulated if that is the case? Illegal weapons have been done, and it's a hub for cyber crime. So you've done a crackdown in April or May, and thereafter there is retaliation. Didn't you not expect this is going to happen? So has the crackdown been complete?
So that is a very big question and a very good question, Anand, why we still have this laid-back attitude of these local administrations, the local police forces. But they think that, something like this will not happen here, it might happen somewhere else. The modus operandi is so very similar to what happened in Delhi, so very similar to what happened in many other parts of the country, including Kanpur, and still the local administration, the ground level intelligence simply does not work. That's the problem. Every time they still think that the IB will give it a report and then only they will act. Where is the local input from the local administration, the local intelligence units? The problem is the local law enforcement agencies have stopped investing in collecting intelligence on the ground. That is the biggest problem.
Let's just come back to the FIR, and Pathikrita, thank you for your inputs. Just quickly taking you through the important aspect that साथी कर्मचारियों की इमदाद से उन लोगों को माइक के माध्यम से काफी बार समझाने की कोशिश की, but what were they doing? कि उनकी भीड़ की तरफ से पुलिस बल पर अवैध हथियारों से फायर भी किया जाने लगा. एंड दे आर ऑल्सो सेइंग कि कानून हाथ में ना ले, शांति व्यवस्था बनाए रखें. लेकिन व्हाट हैपेंड इज, इन द फायरिंग के दौरान उग्र असामाजिक लोगों द्वारा की गई फायरिंग में एक गोली निरीक्षक अनिल कुमार के पेट में लगी. सो वन ऑफ द ऑफिसर्स फ्रॉम सेक्टर 40 गुरुग्राम एक्चुअली गॉट हर्ट. He got injured, he caught a bullet in his stomach, and he was rushed to a private hospital, even while the remaining cops were trying to say that don't try and take law into their own hands, and they were forced to fire. They accept openly कि शाखा से कि प्राथमिक इलाज के लिए अस्पताल ले जाना गया, फिर सरकारी पिस्तौल AK-47 से भीड़ पर काबू पाने के लिए वह अपनी साथी कर्मचारीगण की सुरक्षा के लिए हवाई फायरिंग भी किए गए. We fired in the air, not at the mob. Not at the mob. This is what the FIR says. But more importantly, they say that ये चोट मारकर गंभीर अपराध किया है, and this was done on a deliberate, pre-planned manner. एक सोची समझी साजिश के तहत इसको अंजाम दिया गया is what the SHO has mentioned in his FIR. We're going to wind up this edition of The Right Stand, but in the last 90 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, big news cutting away from what's happened in Haryana to what's going to happen in the Cricket World Cup 2023. So, because Navratra get underway, the rescheduling, India-Pak match has now been rescheduled. It will be played in Ahmedabad, but now on the 14th of October. The scheduled date earlier was the 15th of October, the onset of Navratri. So, a day before that, it's been rescheduled. So what's going to happen to those who made their bookings? It's a packed house. The tickets have been sold out. We are given to understand they will all have to reschedule, extend their stay. But it looks like after trying to put on a very, very stoic and a very stubborn front, Pakistan has blinked and they have agreed. The PCB has agreed to play the game one day earlier on the 14th of October rather than the scheduled 15th of October. Many are also saying this is perhaps the first time that the Cricket World Cup schedule has been so delayed and has seen so many changes. But let's hope that this is all far behind us and we have an exciting Cricket World Cup 2023 on Indian soil. With that, it's a wrap of this edition of The Right Stand. Zaka, ready with brass tacks. Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. Haryana continues to reel from the aftermath of the violence seen in Nuh a couple of days ago. What started it was a mob of miscreants, about 500-600 of them, pelting stones from rooftops, setting on fire a cyber police station, attacking a religious procession carried out by the Bajrang Dal. In response, there was retaliatory violence in different parts of southern Haryana, Gurugram, Sona, Palwal. But a basic question begs to be asked: where is the state? Where is the police, the law and order machinery? Today, the Chief Minister held a press conference and said over 40 FIRs have been registered, over 100 people have been nabbed. But the basic question begs to be asked: how did they allow this violence to flare up in the first place?